Okay, the studios of Braeburn Salas Blue Link is presenting tech support with Tony. Hey everybody, class is in session. We're going to go over a topic today that comes up every once in a while. How to lock and unlock your thermostat. Many of our thermostats have a feature where you can lock out the keypad or the buttons, the up and down buttons, the system button, etc. You can lock these out in a various number of ways to prevent users from accessing certain features or making temperature changes or system mode changes to the thermostat. And you can lock it in such a way that without the proper code you can't get back in. And so we're going to go over how to set this up. It's initially it's a 3-step process to do. I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to talk about it. So let me first bring in the whiteboard. Locking and unlocking thermostat. I'm going to use this model 5220 as an example. This applies to many models. Those will be listed in the video description for which models have a locking feature. First step, choose the lock level. What this means is you can lock out the thermostat in a couple different ways. On most of our older models, the default is a lock 2, and that's a complete lockout, meaning that the user will not have any access. None of these buttons will work if you lock it out that way. Some of our newer models have a lock 3, models like 4030 and 4235. That's going to be your complete lockout on those models. Consult your installer manual for a little more detail on that. But whatever the case, you're going to choose your lock level. And to do this, you have to get into the installer setup menu on the thermostat. You access that menu on most models by pressing the return and the down arrow button at the same time. Return and down. So on this model here, pressing return and down, hold those for a few seconds, and it will get into the menu. First item up is going to say RES for residential, and you'll see where it's got back and next. When you press the next bottom button, that takes you through the menu. Each time you press it, something else. 12-hour clock format, Fahrenheit degree screen, auto changeover, system type here. We're going to keep going through the menu until we get to the lock level. And it's going to say the word lock. And the default is a lock 2, which I mentioned before, is a complete lockout. That means when you lock the thermostat, it will be completely locked out. This doesn't actually lock the thermostat, it just gives us what profile of locking we're going to use. So on this thermostat, you got options of a 1 lock or a 2 lock. 2 lock's going to be a complete lockout. So if you're satisfied with your lock level, return will exit you from the menu. So lock level is set in the installer setup menu. A lot of models like this, return and down arrow. Touchscreen models will be the system and config button to get you into that installer menu. Once you're in the menu, it's very similar. Again, this only determines what will be locked when you actually lock it. This does not lock the stat. So set your lock level first. Next step we need to create a 3-digit lock code or a PIN code, a locking PIN code. To set your lock code, we have to access the user menu. This is a different menu than the installer menu. All of these thermostats have two menus, an installer setup menu and a user menu. To get into the user menu on this model, you're going to press only the return button. Press that and hold it for a few seconds, and that will get you into the menu. The first item here has to do with our override. We can press next to take us to the next item in the menu. We're going to keep cycling through. This is our temperature adjust. This one here is our lock code. You will see the word lock in the display, and the first digit will be flashing. You're going to use your up and down arrow key to set a number. So let's choose 3. Then press next. The second digit will start flashing. We're going to set that number. Let's put it at 4. Press next again. Set the third digit. We're going to set that at 5. Once you've got the third digit set, then press the return button, and that will save your lock code. So now you've created a 3-digit PIN code that you're going to use to lock the thermostat. What we just did not lock the thermostat. That just gave you the ability to create your code. This is going to be your secret code that only you're going to know. That's the code you use when you actually want to lock the thermostat. So, access the user menu, navigate the menu to the lock code option, set all 3 digits. Again, this action does not lock the stat. This just creates the code used to lock the stat. So, now when you're ready to lock the stat, you're going to press the key button combination for your model. It varies depending on which models you have. I've got some of the popular ones right here. Since we're using a 5220, it's going to be the daytime and the hold buttons at the same time. You're going to press those 2 buttons, daytime plus hold. Daytime is right here, and the hold button is right here. We're going to press both of those for a few seconds. Oh, pardon me, that's not right. Daytime and hold. Press those and hold them, and then the screen will change, prompting you for the lock code. You'll see the word lock flashing, and the first digit will be flashing. This is where you're going to enter the 3-digit lock code that you created. So we're going to set that to 3. Press next. Next one is going to be 4. Next. 5. And then after the third digit, press the return button. And now the thermostat will be locked, and you can see the word locked in the display to indicate that it's locked. Now you can press the buttons and it's not going to do anything. We have locked out the keypad entirely. So if you had this set at a certain temperature, nobody's going to be able to change the temperature. It's completely locked out. And unless you know the code, you can't unlock it. So unlocking it is the same thing. You're going to press the daytime and hold buttons. Hold those for a few seconds until you are prompted for the lock code. Once again, here's the lock code. Put in that code you created. 3. Next. 4. Next. 5. And then return. Now the thermostat is unlocked. It no longer shows the word lock. We can press our system button. We can put it into the heat mode. We can adjust our temperature up. We can put it at 79, and it's now in the heat mode. It's calling for heat. If we want to relock it again, same thing. Daytime and hold. Wait until you're prompted for your lock code. Here we go. 3, next. 4, next. 5, and return. Now it's locked. You see the word lock. It's set at 79, but we can't change the temperature. It is locked out. We can't turn the heat mode off. We can't do anything with the fan button. It is completely locked out. So lock the stat. Press the key button combination for your model. It varies depending on which model you got. Next and return for 3020s. Daytime and hold. Touchscreen models, it's 6000 series, so this would be a 6100, 6300, 6425. The clean and config buttons, that's your key button combination. 7000 series, 7205, 7300, 7305, daytime and hold, just like this. 7320, Wi-Fi thermostat, system and daytime. Newer models, 4030, 4235, program and hold. Those are your buttons that you press to actually lock the stat. Set your 3-digit lock code, set all 3 digits, press the return button when you're done, and that will lock the stat. And then again, it will lock it to the level that you chose in the installer menu in the beginning. Lock 1 gives you a lockout that locks out the buttons here, but still keeps this one unlocked. So that allows your user to change the temperature, but they can't change the system mode. Maybe that's something that's important to you when you're locking. You can create it the way you want. It's kind of customizable for that. Consult your installer and user manuals for even more details. But this is how you lock and unlock the Braeburn thermostat. I'm going to put more details in the video description. If you got further questions, you're always welcome to call. Hotline will be in the video description as well. Thanks for coming to class today.